Welcome to the Rankings Podcast, where we feature top founders, entrepreneurs, and elite personal injury attorneys and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Chris Dreyer here, CEO and founder of Rankings.io, where we help elite personal injury attorneys dominate first page rankings. You're listening to the Rankings Podcast, where I feature top business owners, entrepreneurs, and elite personal injury attorneys. I'm excited today to have Ian Garlick on the show. Ian is the CEO of authenticWeb, where they specialize in telling the unique stories of small businesses. He is an expert in both video production and SEO. Ian is a published author in marketing strategy, as well as a featured speaker for the New York State Trial Lawyers Association, the Manhattan Association of Realtors, and the Nassau County Bar Association. Through authenticWeb, his clients have run the gamut from attorneys like Houston's Brent Mayer to author and EOS founder Gino Wickman. Ian, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Chris, thank you so much for having me on. I love to talk legal marketing. I'm weird like that.
Well, that's why I got you on the show. You're a beast, and I'm excited to speak with you. So let's take it back. So how did you get started in video marketing? You've been obsessing about this for years. How did you get started?
Sure. Actually, I was in marketing in general for Thomson Reuters back in the day, 2007. And I was, I remember very specifically, nothing against Thomson Reuters, fine law, I was a marketing consultant. We were going around doing websites, and all the websites were kind of looking the same. And I meet with attorneys, and everyone had a different message, different story. I'm like, well, we got to make this better. And then all of a sudden, YouTube was purchased by Google, and having an SEO background, I'm like, this is it. Google's not going to let YouTube do anything but succeed. And we're going to be able to deliver video and stories in a way we've never been able to before. And plus, once they started integrating it into the universal results, meaning the YouTube videos were showing up inside of Google, I knew it was a game changer. And I was like, this is where I've got to be. I've always loved storytelling. I love video, and I really loved SEO. And I was like, this is a perfect confluence of it. And the funny part was, for up until probably about 5 years ago, we were selling SEO and websites to get people to do video because everyone was like, oh, video, really? But now it's obviously dominating. We love it, and it's just innovative. And, since then, we've also launched storycruise.com, which helps people find videographers that know marketing around them, so that you can find one around the world. And we just did the Giants of Video, which I'm super excited about. I interviewed 40 plus of the best video marketers in the world on what's working now during the pandemic and after the pandemic, because video has exploded. So that's kind of the quick history of it, but that's how I got into video, and that's what I've been doing since.
Yeah, so you already mentioned several that I want to dig into: the Giants of Video, Story Cruise, authenticWeb. Let's start off with authenticWeb. So, and you kind of mentioned this, but for people who don't know what authenticWeb is about and what you guys provide, kind of what's the 80-20? What does authenticWeb do?
We help you get it's the right story at the right time. Storytelling is about timing, and we help create those videos that we understand the customer journey and that client journey and where they are in it, because the same video is not going to apply to the same person at the same time. We purchase because we make decisions because of timing and where we are in our stories. We make those videos, and then we help to design them and help to market them so they are in front of their ideal prospect, their client's ideal prospect, at the exact right time. And we work with professionals. I started with lawyers. We've worked with all sorts of professionals. I love it. I love service-based businesses. And there's nothing better, because we help you to become the authority and the friend to that potential client. So when they walk through the door, they feel like you're their best friend and you're their savior because they've seen all your videos.
Yeah, I completely agree. You get to see the person's face, you get to hear the tone of their voice, and see if you actually want to work with that individual, as opposed to just reading just some long form text about their credentials. So let's take an example here. So let's take a Chicago personal injury law firm. Mm-hmm. What would you do to help grow that firm with authenticWeb's video marketing services?
So yeah, we take them through what we call our video blueprints. We take who their ideal clients are. Now, every personal injury attorney thinks that they're all going after the same ones. They think they're all going after car accidents, which a lot of them are. Especially, when you get to a bigger one, you have to go after a lot of different clients, but you can get very targeted, especially at your mid-level, about who you want to work with. Not just niche-wise, but where are they located? Who are these people? And that's called design the avatar. We design that avatar, and then we walk through their entire journey. So we walk through from not knowing that they need a personal injury attorney, so like moments before the accident to the accident, what happens after the accident, onboarding them, and figure out what stories they need to hear, where they are, and then we create that video plan, and then we do a documentary style video process where we're interviewing for the wants and needs and the excuses of their potential client, and create anywhere from 40 to 100 videos that we then optimize. We put in Facebook retargeting, YouTube ads, and we work with incredible partners too, so that we are working with SEO teams like rankings.io if we are ever so lucky, and we work with other website designers. We work with their teams to make sure it's all cohesive, and we're delivering these videos over and over again. And what's really cool is that a lot of times these videos last for 4, 5, 6 years, so you get this huge ROI. And in the end, like I said before, the results, I mean, we've had some awesome results, but that's the big thing, and from a granular level, some of the places that we look at, definitely retargeting. You should be retargeting your stories, what we call case stories, not testimonials, storytelling. Our biggest wins have been in ranking video stories of your clients, but actual stories, not saying I got $1 million in a lawsuit. No one's going to watch that. No one cares. I mean, if you just got an accident, yes, you care. But you need something for people to watch. So you need to tell their stories. So your client stories are so important. You should have an arsenal of those, edited in different ways. Your About Us, the second most used page on the website. What do attorneys do usually? They throw up their CV. Who can read their CV? Other attorneys. If you're a personal injury attorney, no one understands what's on your About Us page. You can be like, trial lawyer of the year. I don't want to go to trial. I went to so-and-so law school. I don't know what that means. I'm board certified. What does that mean? Right? So it's your opportunity to explain to someone. So we create videos, we create content on there that, like I always say, the About Us is about them. How do you tell your story to them? Because what happens then after that About Us, people go to the contact page. So these are some of the places, some easy, low-hanging fruit, plus obviously make videos about car accident attorney, et cetera. And we're always just working at optimizing those, but we create roughly 9 types of video for every client. Long story short.
Yeah, there's a lot in there. So I want to point out a few things you said. So first, you're creating content or video content for all areas of the funnel. So that awareness before they even know about you, all the way to getting them to like you, that engagement side, and then hiring you, and even post-hiring for those case stories to highlight your successes. And the other thing I like that you mentioned is really making it about the customer, the client, as opposed to making yourself the hero, because you got to think about it. Consumers are thinking about themselves as the victim and what's in it for them. And I think that's a good point to really make the client the hero.
It's a huge point to make the client the hero and to understand their alibis, their excuses for taking action. Because everyone thinks it's about, there's that percentage. Yes, they want the most money, but I personally have referred people to personal injury attorneys, and probably 9 times out of 10, it's more about how they feel, that they feel like I'm not a person that sues, that I like my insurance company. Oh, I'm not that injured, so why do I need to call an attorney? I mean, I just had one of those happen. I don't want to ask someone about an attorney because I'm just not that type of person. These are all things that your videos should be addressing, because there's this huge majority of people that you're missing out on that might have a decent case or a big case. And if you're by not addressing it, you're just not winning.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And there's just so much into this. You've been doing this for years, and you've got a lot of experience, and that kind of transitions me to Story Cruise. For someone like myself or many of our audience members, thinking about producing video just seems overwhelming. And like, who are you going to get? Maybe you want to work with someone local. So how does Story Cruise fit in, well, identifying these expert videographers?
So years ago, probably, I got known for the case story thing and the About Us videos. So people were flying me all around, which was awesome. But there's only one of me. So then we start looking at, hiring videographers. And every time we hired a videographer, I mean, not every time, but 9 times out of 10, it just didn't work out. Because the videographer is a filmmaker. They went to film school. They don't understand your business. They don't understand marketing. And that's a big thing. We assume that someone knows how to make video. They know how to make video that works. And, we've seen plenty of multi-billion-dollar video productions, film productions that didn't sell. So assuming that someone knows how to make a video that works for your business is a bad assumption. And we saw that over and over again. So what we decided to do is start training videographers. Train them on how to make videos that work. And it's a different art. We use a lot of copy-driven principles, copywriting. I know some of the best copywriters in the world, and apply them to the videos techniques. So we've been training them all around the country, all around the world. So you can hire one. Now, if you need a case story done, a video case story, you can go there and find that right person. If you want to find someone locally for yourself to pick up and shoot some videos, they'll be able to direct you, because you'd think that they're telling you what's great, but and what's even worse is sometimes people want to make things that look cool. I've watched so many videos, Chris, that 30 seconds in, I'm like, I'm not sure what this video is about. And you know how many people watch 30 seconds of a video? Probably 30% of the viewers. It's so, you need someone that knows how to translate your marketing message, understand your business, and be able to translate that, as well as, if you're going to put them in front of a client, ask questions well. Get the stories out. One of the things I'm kind of known for is making grown men cry. But it's in a good way, because we get engaged, and, you know how to ask them the questions. You get that emotion out. And that's not something, once again, that they teach in film school. So, that's why we develop story cruises, so you can find these people all around the world.
And that's incredible. I think one of the most difficult parts of being just a business owner in general is finding top talent. Mm-hmm. And this is a way to find that top talent. So back to the, trying to get some video marketing tips and things like that. You had the giants of video. You had some of the most successful video marketing specialists, on this. It was a webinar, correct? And
yeah, it was a video summit. It was a 15-day video summit with 50 plus hours of people teaching video techniques.
So after all of that time, here's the super broad, just launching the football out here question. So what were some of your top takeaways that are just those individuals just crushing it with video? What were some of your top takeaways?
I'm going to tell you the number one takeaway. Well, trend and then takeaways. The number one takeaway was this thing that I discovered was strategy stacking. And it comes off of Scott Adams, who wrote Dilbert and whatever. He has weird political views, whatever you take of it, but he's an amazing, amazing business writer. But he talks about talent stacking. Like, you can be decent at 4 different things. Like, he's a decent artist. He's a decent business person. He's a decent comedy writer, but put that together and he's really successful. So I noticed that with the giants of video, none of them were incredible at video production, including like Matt Johnston, who came from Business Insider, has had millions upon millions of views of his videos, viral videos. Anik Singhal, who has a huge production studio, but his productions, he admits it's just okay. But they add, decent copy, decent audience knowledge, decent targeting. Plus they do this, they stack strategies. So your email you shouldn't be running an email campaign, a TV campaign, a Facebook campaign. These should be stacked and moving people from one place to another. And that's what these guys were doing, which was really cool. So the videos kind of connected. I saw this with a lot of like live streams that went into video email funnels, that went into another video live stream that retargeted to case stories. So that was one of the big things, was strategy stacking. So you're connecting everything instead of running it simultaneously. I see that a lot. Like, everyone's like, oh, I'm doing TV and I'm doing Facebook ads and I'm doing YouTube, but they're not connected. And by connected, I don't mean running the same thing and going, oh, this video's on YouTube, this video's here, and this video's here. I'm saying that they move people from place to place. So that was one of the biggest ones I saw happening. It's a little more, it seems advanced, but it makes a lot of sense. And yeah, did you have a question about that one?
Yeah. So I was just going to say that really sounds similar to a blog I read recently, one of Rand Fishkin's blogs. He's talking about, flywheels and how you kind of connect this cohesive marketing strategy so it builds momentum for all the channels. And I really like that because it's like, how can I leverage this channel to move them to this other channel to just keep your audience engaged?
Yep. Yeah. And it's not just bombarding them from all sides, it's connection. And so it's a theme, knowing that people go to YouTube to learn and somewhat be entertained. They go to Facebook to be distracted. They're going to their email to stay connected. They're going to Instagram to flip through and somewhat be entertained. So, that the same video doesn't work, but you can move them from place to place. And TikTok is, I know we've talked about it before. That was another one. TikTok, my mind was changed on. I think it's a huge opportunity right now. Matt Johnson talked about it, and I think it's a huge opportunity for everyone, but a branding opportunity for personal injury attorneys. Huge branding opportunity.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I have to admit, I finally broke down and downloaded TikTok recently, and you can just stay engaged for forever because then it figures out what you like. It shows more of the same content. And I think that anytime there's a new marketing initiative, a new channel being first in, it's just, there's less saturation. Same, if you would have done podcasting 2 or 3 years ago and how you got into video earlier, it's just easier to stand out. Twitter has, audio tweets coming out. LinkedIn has the LinkedIn newsletter and LinkedIn Live. It's important to be in the forefront of these different channels and initiatives.
Oh yeah. So important. And it's when everyone's saying, the one thing I keep hearing from everyone I say about TikTok is, isn't that just for 13-year-olds? But no, if you go on there, there's plenty of adults and moms, decision makers. Like if you're a personal injury attorney, moms are decision makers in that, right? If a family member's in a car accident, a lot of times the mom is the decision maker. So, or an influencer. So you can be in front of them with your messaging and it's free and you get tens of thousands of views. That was a big one that I took away. TikTok, let's see what else and the other thing is hyper personalization of video. Meaning onboarding, we've talked to Joey Coleman before. I'm not sure if you've had him on yet, but he's amazing. King of customer satisfaction. 5% increase in customer satisfaction increases 25 to 100% increase in profits. So a personal injury attorney is like, well, my trial skills are what leads to the profits. But no, even if you don't land that client, even if that client's too small of a case for you, even if that client doesn't, call you back. If you give them an exceptional experience when they first call, you send them a personalized video, which it's super easy to do in 5 seconds with some of the software. You're going to create an incredible client experience. And even if they don't refer to you now, they're going to talk about you. And that's one of the big things I saw over and over again is small audience client experience. I think it's the latest trend.
Yeah, and Joey Coleman is coming on in the future, and he's a great guy. His book, Never Lose a Customer Again, it talks about that 100-day experience. And I think what you pointed out is there's all different phases of the client journey. And even after they're a client, then you have those review opportunities. So let's talk about the channel itself, your YouTube channel. Let's talk about basic optimizations, right? I'm an SEO guy. I'm not really a YouTube guy, but let's talk about optimizations, playlists, things like that. What are some of the core foundational things you should do to optimize a YouTube video?
Well, the first thing is, and I know you talk about this too, is quality content. So how do you create quality content? Well, on video, you have to get their attention first. People can't scan like written content and look for their answer. So you have to know what that person wants and be able to speak to it and get that emotional engagement. And that's why stories work so well if they're done right, is because it's a story. So it's engaging. So thinking about quality content for your viewer, right? What do they want? What do they want to get away from? What do they want to go towards? I always say wants away, want towards. They're overwhelmed, that you just got a car accident and you're scared. You're not sure who to talk to. You're getting so much information and talk about their situation. So that's a big part of it. because you want to also get view time. That's two of the big signals right now for YouTube. And on Giants of Video, we really went into it deep with Jesse Minch, who has millions of viewers on his videos. And probably is one of the, I love him, just genuine guy. And also some of the other YouTube experts, they talk about view time. So it's percent viewed, but also total view time. So getting like longer form content that's engaging. And how do you do that? By making videos, paying attention to it. So that's the core of it. Now you can also look and answer all the questions that are out there along that client journey. Besides personal injury attorney, like what are some of the questions they have earlier on? Questions about insurance. Because, I've worked with personal injury attorneys, and one of the biggest problems is if someone calls up, they have no insurance themselves and were hit by someone with no insurance. Well, that's not the kind of client you want. You want someone that was hit by someone with a lot of insurance. So you got to figure out what are those person's questions earlier on. And some of it won't be necessarily about personal injury law. You can be answering stuff about your town, your referral sources, things like that, just to get more views and move them along the journey. And then, like you said, keywords, playlists, make sure you have great descriptions, you're tagged well, you're linking to other videos, you're going for subscription. So you have to give them a reason to subscribe. If you're just transactional, well, if it's just about personal injury law, well, they're not going to subscribe. You're not going to get a whole ton of subscribers. So think about things that your audience needs and they want, and the kind of content that you can provide for them. We're seeing a lot of traction with the lives. So YouTube is putting a little bit of more emphasis on ranking lives, total volume of content. Once you get to that 50, 60 video point, you're really getting more viewers. Getting over 1,000 subscribers is important. Those are just a few of the factors. But if you start out with really good content, really understanding, be obsessed with your potential clients, then you're going to win.
So would it be fair to say that if you created high quality content, maybe some of those optimization things, while they're good, maybe wouldn't be as important? Maybe it's mostly about view time and quality.
Oh yeah. It is mostly about view time and entertainment and quality. And you have to be someone entertaining too. It can't just be a boring reading this. It is quality, it's engagement, and practicing. And that's why it's important to make tons of video. And one place to test stuff is Facebook, and then make it use it in YouTube. That's what the Harmon brothers did, who made Squatty Potty Poopery. That we talked about that on the Giants of Video, how they test stuff on Facebook to see what's quality and then bring it over to YouTube.
One of the other things that just come to mind, I had a previous guest, I had Ed Herman on, and Ed has Ed versus Cereal. He has, I think, 2 lawyers and a sandwich or something. It's just not all about the law, but he's building a lot of local awareness around St. Louis. He's really building his brand and getting people in the door, and he's becoming likable. He talks about it as brand love, and he's just not just totally 100% focused on what should you do after a car accident, what are the steps you should take. It's kind of just building that audience as well.
Yeah. And then also doing crazy stuff like that. Ian Stanley, who was on, and I that's why I love doing the Giants of Video, because I know a lot about video. I'm doing it for 13 years, online video. I think definitely we are some of the experts, but I want to know what everyone's doing. I want to watch it. I want to be, the Ted Williams. And Ted Williams used to always go, like, if you ever read anything about Ted Williams, everywhere he went, he'd be asking whoever, about anyone that was an expert at anything, about how they ate breakfast, about how they did this, because he was always looking for that edge. So that's one of the things I like about Giants of Video. That said, Ian Stanley was on, amazing copywriter, makes millions of dollars writing emails, makes funny videos. And he said really something important. It's not as much about the quality or as much as being different too. And if you can be different and stand out, people are going to, and that's what, Ed Herman's doing over here, with these videos, and then people link to them, they comment on them. And that's an important thing to do, but it's scary for attorneys. But guess what? It's funny. I think about growing up in Orlando. John Morgan was everywhere. Morgan, Colley, and Gilbert, in the 80s when they first allowed video, and everyone's like, oh, look at that guy, right? All the other attorneys were looking down their noses at him. he's not doing too bad now because he stood out and he had, and I understand you want to be professional. You can still be professional, but the most important thing is to get that client. If you're a great attorney, the most important thing is to help them. And if it's in your thing to wear a crazy green suit and jump around, if it gets you clients and you serve them well, more power to you.
Yeah, I mean, when you were saying be contrarian, I was thinking of the Hammer in Texas, and I was thinking of all these different kind of individuals that have really been different. And everyone talks about them. Some people talk about them being positive and smart and other negative, but guess what? They have our attention.
Yep. People link to them. It from an SEO trick. Did you ever read the thing in the New York Times about the eyeglass guy?
I haven't.
So there's this one eyeglass guy in New York that ranked number one for, I think it was for like luxury eyewear. It was a super competitive, super valuable term. And the way he ranked number one wasn't through high quality service. And I don't recommend this, but he screwed everyone over so bad. They complained so much, but they complained everywhere. They had so many links to his website because there were so many complaints that he ranked number one. So
funny.
It's standing out. And now I once again don't recommend
you
that.
just got the negative SEOers attention on that one.
But you got to know everything that works. But like you said, if we're talking about someone, if they're linking to them, that's in the end, you're going to win.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of your favorite success stories of one of your clients. What's something that stands out?
I mean, we've helped a bunch of attorneys, like one law firm in Denver. We helped grow from 0 to now, a nice size 7-figure law firm over the course of 5-6 years, and just be the dominant player in Denver through video. And it was just making tons of video early on and taking advantage of constantly being on the cutting edge. So he was always like, let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And not waiting to see everyone else doing it. So that was one of my favorites. And always, when we can get case stories to rank, especially ones that make people cry, and that's like number one for those super hard search terms, because that to me is the biggest success. And then I hear from attorneys that, you've changed my business. You changed my life. The people walking through me, I feel like I'm their best, walking through the door, I feel like I'm the best friend. Those are my favorite success stories, but, and that's, I don't necessarily have one specific one. The one in Denver works out. We've worked with all sorts of law firms that we've just helped grow. One personal injury law firm, he's a little older now, but now he had a nice high 7-figure year last year and worked 3 days a week, thanks to all the videos. So I love that too.
That's incredible. Yeah. And working with Gino Wickman, the king of EOS traction, and
yep.
Yeah, he's amazing too. Hey, let's shift to personal development. So are there any business books that come to mind that you recommend?
Oof, there's like a whole slew of them back there. It just, I'm constantly reading, constantly listening to stuff. I love The Slight Edge by, I think, Jeff Olson. That's a great one. How to Be Like Walt by Pat Williams. I just interviewed Pat Williams from the Orlando Magic, co-founder of Orlando Magic. Almost all of his books are amazing, and he's written 100 books. But How to Be Like Walt is just like one of those stories that's mind-blowing and so inspirational, and just really how Walt ran his business. I love, those types of biographies. I love, other motivational books too. All the EOS stuff. If you're running a business, EOS is super important. And then, constantly refining. So I'm reading books on copywriting.
Ogilvy, Dan
Kennedy. Yeah, Dan Kennedy. Scientific Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. From a marketing standpoint, if you haven't read Influence by Robert Cialdini, you need to read that.
That's a great one.
Yeah, as well as All Marketers Are Liar by Seth Godin. Love that one. And then, from a personal development, motivational standpoint, I still listen to like some of the greats like Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn. He's a little old time speaky, but he still inspires me on a regular basis.
Yeah, Jim Rohn, his 12 Pillars of Success.
Yep.
I love that one. You can get through that one in a day. It's incredible.
So good.
Yeah, all of those books are just amazing. And now I've got several more to add to my reading list here. Ian, is there, one final question here. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we haven't discussed?
I mean, the big thing, I think there's a huge opportunity for personal injury law firms to be in YouTube and YouTube ads and doing it different. And they all should be looking at it. And also make sure you have a strong video retargeting campaign. It's amazing to me how many personal injury law firms I go and they don't have any retargeting going on. YouTube's the cutting edge. Retargeting should be your fundamentals that you're always refining. Speaking of great books, Wooden, that's definitely one that I would also read. It's all about fundamentals.
Well, those are some amazing recommendations, and I completely agree about the retargeting, and there's just some huge opportunities there, guys. So, guys, we've been talking to Ian Garlick, CEO of authenticWeb. Ian, where can people learn more about you?
So you can go to authenticweb.com if you want to set up, if you want to talk about your videos, talk about your video strategy. Feel free to reach out. We'll go through a discovery session. You can also find any of our videographers at storycruise.com. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, go for it. I love to connect with people on LinkedIn. Make sure to let me know you saw me here with Chris, the one and only Chris Dreyer, and I'll make sure to hook you up.
Awesome. Thanks, Ian.
My pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Rankings Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.